So, my two theories that I essentially studied is the Crowley front. I love Aleister Crowley. He's such a fascinating character.
Quite a character.
He, essentially, growing up, he labeled himself the Great Beast 666 to his mom and dad, and then acted like a spoiled brat running all around the fucking, all around the world, searching out a spiritual fortress. He literally found a group of wizards that were basically just a bunch of nerds, and they had wizard battles in the middle of London. They put a stop to them, and the police were called.
Yeah.
So that tells you just how powerful wizard they actually were. But there's reason to believe that Crowley at one point channeled real magic.
When he was living in Loch Ness.
Yeah, he tried to do this ritual to summon a guardian angel. This ritual requires months of preparation. It requires dedication to a lifestyle of celibacy and no drugs and no alcohol. Basically, the anti-Crowley.
Yeah, which was very hard for him, I assume.
Very, very hard. So he immediately broke that, like a month in. And rumor has it, if you fuck up trying to summon your guardian angel, you actually bring in demons. Because part of the ritual is calling forth demons and casting them out until you get what you want. And he brought them in but didn't cast them out. So he married this girl named Rose. They have scouted off to fucking Egypt. Had a honeymoon in a pyramid, which is pretty much the best way to do it.
You could do it back then. Just walk into a pyramid, walk into a tomb.
They fucked in the pyramid and stayed overnight, and I'm just like, fuck the Bahamas. That sounds awesome. That would be my honeymoon.
My honeymoon was in Maui. There was no channeling of Egyptian gods.
Oh hell no! Look. Egyptian god all the way. That's going to be my honeymoon. I'm just like, we're fucking in the pyramid.
I don't know if you could get past security at this point, but back then you could do it.
He brought her to a pyramid. She acted all strangely. Like, literally, she was crawling from a ceiling fan, yelling like a cat at him and shit. And she says she's channeling the Egyptian god Ewas. Ewas. And Crowley was like, yeah, right, bitch, whatever. Bullshit. But he's like, fine, we'll test this. He takes her back to the London Museum, and she stops in front of an exhibit that was numbered 666. And that opened up Crowley's eyes. Because he was like, maybe she really is channeling an Egyptian god, Ewas. And she told him that through him, he was going to essentially write the Egyptian Book of Law. Right? Through her, to him, he was going to write the Book of Law, is what it's called. And
sort of it was an exercise of automatic writing by proxy.
Yeah, it's incredibly fucking hard to believe.
Yeah.
Or to read. It's also really hard to understand, and we're not going to go to a Nukian magic.
Nope.
But over 3 days, this demon talked to him, this Egyptian god, and he wrote this book of law and shit that's supposed to essentially, I guess, channel Horus, the Egyptian god of destruction.
Or death or something.
Or bring about the age of Horus.
I'm pretty sure Horus was the one with the dog head.
Yeah. And Horus is the Egyptian...
Or that was Anubis. I don't know.
God of death and destruction. And it's interesting because the age of Horus started at the 20th century. And in the 20th century, we have seen a shit ton of wars, destruction, and death. More so than many of the centuries before. So very well could be that we are in the age of Horus. But we won't get into that. What Crowley found out was he had access to real magic. And he believed that we existed on different planes of existence. One of them held a place called the Black Lodge. There's the White Lodge and the Black Lodge. Think of the White Lodge as like heaven. Good magicians live there. Black Lodge is like hell, right?
But a very strange hell.
A very strange hell. So Crowley found out how to open the door to the Black Lodge. Let a few things out, and we had a few little weird cryptid stuff show up, and immediately slammed it shut. He's like, "We're not doing that."
Yeah.
You know?
Sort of people assume, Crowley took on the mantle of the 666, the Beast, and all that, as sort of a I don't know, costume. Magic. A lot of magic is sort of acting as if, but according to quite a few people who knew him, he was technically what you might call a white wizard.
Yeah.
And he was actually trying to do things to help humanity. He definitely was a spy for the Allies during World War II. Whether he used magic for that or not, I mean...
a lot of what Crowley did got vilified for the actions that he took.
Yeah.
And towards the end of his life, though, he wanted to play the villain. He kind of just wanted to play the cartoonish version of one, without really doing too much damage.
And he really, the tragedy of Crowley is honestly the depraved sex and drugs. So he did die a heroin addict.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
As people like that tend to eventually fall into.
In burnout, yeah.
But needless to say, Crowley had found out a way to get to the Black Lodge. Now, enter in two of his disciples. One of them you probably know pretty well. The founder of the Church of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard. L. Ron Hubbard was all about getting fucking laid and getting paid.
Making money, baby.
So him and another disciple named Jack Parsons trained under fucking Crowley, and L. Ron Hubbard used it to further his career. He actually based the Church of Scientology off early fucking Crowley teachings.
Yep.
And he took that to make himself a shit ton of money, because he realized that if you really want to make money in this world, you start a religion.
And he said that.
And he said that. He said that bold-faced. Like,
to his wife.
And people still follow him to this day for some fucking reason. But
I also mentioned that Jack Parsons was also a rocket scientist. He worked at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena. He was a very smart man. In contrast to L. Ron Hubbard, Parsons actually did stuff. Hubbard lied about everything he ever did.
Yeah. But to bring it kind of full circle, Crowley believed in this thing, in the Black Lodge, that there are three prominent figures. There was the personification of evil, a tall, dark man, the Men in Black. There was a dwarf that loved music, and there was the Scarlet Woman.
Also, could be seen as the Whore of Babylon,
a.k.a. the girl that gives birth to the Antichrist.
Yeah.
So, L. Ron Hubbard and fucking Jack Parsons decided one night to try to summon the Moonchild, the Scarlet Woman, all that shit.
Which was actually a fiction book that Crowley wrote. But he wrote it. It had a lot of real.
But they were trying to summon the Scarlet Woman.
Yes.
And Crowley found out about it, and he was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah.
He's like, "These two dipshits can't even summon a fucking demon, and they're trying to summon the Scarlet Woman into this realm of existence, which is like essentially welcoming in destruction."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Whatever, Crowley. We're just gonna make money."
Well, I mean, okay. Hubbard said that. Parsons really believed in this stuff as a way of what really was a disciple of Crowley. Hubbard was in it for Hubbard.
Yeah, but they're both idiots. Like Crowley didn't look at them and go, "These guys are like competent enough to summon the Scarlet Woman," because even if that was the case,
but I'm not saying that they weren't idiots. I'm saying that Parsons knew his limitations.
Parsons knew his limitations, but he went along with it.
Yeah,
he was there when they tried to summon him.
He was also very jealous because Hubbard was fucking all his women.
Yeah. So Parsons is just as much to blame here. Him and fucking L. Ron Hubbard tried to summon the Scarlet Woman, which means opening the door to the Black Lodge, which means they may have opened the door to the Black Lodge, and unlike Crowley, didn't shut it.
They left it ajar.
They left it ajar. And here's where it gets weird. You see, that happened like what, during the 1920s, 1930s?
I don't know, 50s.
1950s.
This is right post-war, man.
Right around that time, we started getting the weird cryptids. Most of the cryptids around the realm have been like a Bigfoot stature. You know, humanoid in like fucking shape. A little bit of hair. They could pass for a monkey.
Yeah.
After
or even there was some other sort of other cryptids that like the not the Puerto Rican chupacabra, but the Mexican chupacabra was all, you know, doggish.
Yeah.
The Puerto Rican one though, very scary.
So when they opened the door to the Black Lodge, the theory states all these cryptids came out because right after the 1950s is when the Flatwoods Monster showed up, when the Men in Black showed up, when the Dover Demon showed up, when the fucking Mothman showed up, when the fucking Puerto Rican Chupacabra showed up, and they're all twisted fucked versions.
Yep.
Like the Dover Demon is like a twisted fucked version of like a dog. This is like a twisted fucked version of an owl.
The Flatwoods Monster is just terrifying.
Flatwoods Monster is terrifying. The Men in Black are demonic versions of us. It's like all these things escaped from the Black Lodge. And so that's one of my favorite theories, is the Aleister Crowley route. And then the less...
I enjoy that theory.
I like that. I think that's my favorite one. I think that's... Out of all the theories we're going to present today, that's the one I'm going to go with the most.
I think it also plays into the interdimensional sort of thing, because you could consider, I mean, as in Twin Peaks, like, you could consider the Black Lodge, the White Lodge, two different dimensions. Whether they're hell or heaven, you know, that's to be desired, but whatever.
It plays into your first theory. It actually supports it.
Yeah.
Some people remember him dying in like the 1990s.
No. I think it was 80s.
Or 1980s.
Whenever he was in prison. He was in prison for a while. People remember him dying in prison.
People remember him dying in prison, but the reality that we live in, he actually got out of prison a free man and died.
Yeah, and was hugely influential in the abolishing apartheid in South Africa, and hugely influential in something that was called something reconciliation, where truth and reconciliation, where instead of rounding people up like we did Nazis and doing like a Nuremberg trial, the people that were involved in apartheid, sort of had to answer to someone. There was always a hierarchy. So truth and reconciliation was basically all these people came forward, said what they did, and apologized, and people moved on. That's not exactly what happened, but that was the idea, and there's credence to, truth and reconciliation could work in a lot of places. Right now, to sort of bring it to like current days, something's happening now. The indigenous people of North America, namely Canada, were treated horribly. Children were rounded up.
Are we doing the Mothman or a dissertation on history? You can continue if you want.
So people have said that the same process should be done in Canada with their indigenous peoples and the Catholic Church, who basically kidnapped a lot of children.
Okay, no politics.
Okay,
no politics. All right, all right. We're gonna cut all of that.
I'm leaving it in.
There's all right.
I'm leaving it in.
I don't subscribe to any ideas, okay? But we're back to... we gotta cut that, because I got really off.
I know. Okay, we got a little off track there.
Yeah. Alright.
Yeah, I guess me spouting off about truth and reconciliation might not be the best.
Not unless we want to like ostracize half our audience.
Well, I mean, I don't really want people who subscribe to the idea of kidnapping indigenous children and raping them, murdering them, and burying them in mass graves, watching our fucking channel.
I don't. Okay, yeah, I don't mind like that. We can totally do something on that. But that like really destroys the level of what we're going.
All right, fine.
Because now we're talking about raping and killing kids. Like
that's what I'm saying. Do we want people watching this that think that's okay?
No, but we don't have to go into it.
Okay.
Who wants to hear about raping and killing kids when they're trying to learn about the Mothman? All right. I'm back on track.
Okay.
All right,
bring it back.
All right, guys. So, anyway, the Men in Black are, God damn it, I had something for this. All right, hold on.
Time crime.
Time crime.
Mandela effect. I think we should cut everything with Mandela effect.
Yeah, I think up to when we started talking about Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
We'll cut it there and then just leave everything out.
Yeah. Okay.
And now we're at fucking.
I'm gonna start my own fucking YouTube channel.
You get to...
where I talk politics, guys. And we're gonna talk seriously. I'm a socialist. I'm a gun owner. And I don't know. I'm ready to throw down.